every time. There is ladies that watch my channel mostly. Hi everyone, welcome back to the studio vlog. You probably hear the dog in the background. You probably hear Sophia's TV shows. You see Sophia there. The kids are off of school today and I'm just trying to make it work. I haven't started work yet and it's already like noon, but it's okay. I worked late last night, so it's alright. I'm balancing it.
Since she just was working right now because she had to clean everything.
Yes, that's what I was working on doing, cleaning the house. I had to clean up because I haven't had a chance this week. It's been a hot mess, but it's okay. I got it done today. It's Thursday. I only have a few things on my to-do list for this week left to finish. I'm hoping I'll get it done today. I already started illustrations for a sticker pack that's supposed to go up on Monday. So I'm already through the hard part, getting the concept out and done. I just have to do line work and then color and then do the like functional versions of them, which I already have a template for, so it should be relatively quick. And then same with like a mini launch that I have. Those are for Holly Pixels, but I have a mini launch going live on my Etsy shop on Monday as well. So I already basically have the designs all done for that. I just have to play with the colors, readjust, refill out the pages, and then prep them for both digital and then export them so that they are they're PNGs for line cuts for my Cricut so that I can have physical versions of them too. But yeah, so it's noon. I have to start at work. I have to get her lunch first so that I can get everything done by today because I'm gonna try and take Friday kind of off. The kids are home from school today and tomorrow. They have like teacher conferences and stuff like that, and we had our teacher conferences last week or 2 weeks ago because like I was telling you guys, I was way behind on work because of some school stuff, so I had conferences with teachers early, so I don't have to worry about that this week. But I'm trying to just like, since they're home, we'll probably go to the museum tomorrow in the city. So you saw us go to the planetarium this time.
And we're gonna go get ramen in the city.
Yes, and we're gonna eat our favorite food, which is ramen. This time we'll probably go to the Field Museum. They're all like really close to each other in Chicago. If you've ever been or if you're from the city, you already know. There's like a museum campus that there's like the planetarium, Field Museum, and the aquarium. They're all by each other. So we will probably go to the Field Museum because it is free month here in Chicago. All of the month of February is free. So we're literally going on like the second to last day. But that's okay. So I want to get everything I can get done today so that I don't have to worry about it tomorrow. And if I need to, I might do a little work on Saturday. Sophia has ballet on Saturday, so I have like an hour to do nothing and I just sit there because I don't like to just like drop her off and leave because she's still too little. So I'll probably just bring my laptop like I always do and just get work done there. But yeah, so I wanted to check in because I haven't checked in at all this week. I filmed quite a bit, but I didn't talk at all. I haven't been in a talking mood. I've been trying to like get stuff done this week. I'm finally feeling all caught up from the last few weeks of like the craziness that's been going on with just like regular life stuff. And I was just not feeling so great the last few days. Like I struggle with migraines. I don't know if other people who watch me do as well. You probably do. It's a very common thing among people, especially women my age. But I struggle with these terrible migraines, and I'm the type that powers through things. So even if I'm not feeling well, I'm still gonna get my work done. I'm still gonna like, you know, focus on powering through. So the last few days, that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been struggling with my like these. I get these epic migraines, and it tends to be, I feel like it's hormonal. I'm not quite sure. Just like my face rashes. I don't know if you guys can see them. I put makeup on them so they're not so icky. But yeah, so I struggle with migraines and I've been like trying to power through them this week, so I haven't been feeling like up for talking to the camera. But I have been filming the work that I was doing this week. I was finishing up my latest tutorial that went live today actually, like officially today. I shared it live on Patreon a day early, but it went live today. So I was working on that. I was working on some bullet journal principles that I needed to get up on the website as well. Then I was prepping the product for launch for this upcoming Monday. Just some basic, like, you know, drawing stuff and design stuff. So I've been doing that, and yeah, so it's been an interesting week. I was watching, and I don't know how many of you out there, you know, watch me because of my background or because of just the art, but for those of you who are similar to me and come from a Latino culture, I'm Mexican and Puerto Rican. I grew up in Humboldt Park on the west side of Chicago. And so there's a new show on Netflix that just hit so close to home. It's called Gentrification, and it's just, again, a play on this idea of gentrification. And I see it happening, and I've seen it happening for so long, for so many years now, in Humboldt Park on the west side of Chicago. And this show is just amazing. It's one thing to be able to like see my people representing our people. You know, it's directed by Latinos, created by Latinos. I believe it was a web series before. But yeah, so I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit really quick. Just, I'm loving the show. On the last episode, episode 8, just like hit me to the core. It's just the people, the experiences. It's my family, it's my people. Like, I see my family, our experiences in the show, and it's just amazing to be able to see that in media today, because for the longest time there wasn't very much representation of people like me. I mean, J-Lo, my queen, like when J-Lo was popular in the 90s and 2000s, I was like, ah, Jenny from the block, that's me. But anyway, so I love Gentrification. It's amazing. It's amazing. It talks about some really hard things, and it's just so inspiring to watch. Also, going back to my whole like woo-woo side of things, I felt like the universe was absolutely talking to me through this show. And then literally earlier that day when I was watching, before I was watching episode 8, I think it was like Tuesday night, I listened to podcasts during the day while I work, and it just kind of keep me motivated. And I listened to the Whoroscope Witch, and I listened to this amazing creative podcast by Andy J. Pizza, the Creative Pep Talk, because I love listening to other creatives' journey, right? Of course, they do a vlog. I watch vlogs, but I don't know, there's just something about someone talking in my ear during the day that just kind of helps me move forward. But anyway, so there's episode 265 about Andy's visit to like Sioux Falls, I think it's North Dakota or South Dakota, I don't remember exactly, but this last interview he did, I don't want to ruin it for you, but let's just say it was such a reminder that as a creative, or as creatives, we are here to create the narrative. I know I struggle constantly with this concept of self-worth, self-value, and I'm gonna get back to Gentrification in a second because it leads into this, but self-worth and self-value, right? And also, like, I struggle with whether or not my artwork, the things that I create, and a lot of the stuff actually that I don't show on this channel that I'm hoping to show soon, and I'll be releasing slowly on Instagram, but that artwork, whether or not it's meaningful, or whether or not it's making a positive impact in the world, or whether or not I'm actually being of service to the world. And mind you, I used to work in nonprofit, I worked in corporate, I've been a teacher for almost 10 years now. 2011 was when I started teaching in higher education, and still I struggle with this idea of whether or not what I'm doing, my place in this world, is making it better. And this episode is just like, it filled my heart because it reminded me that like art is important. And we were talking about just how, like, with how crazy everything is right now. We see wars, we hear about terrorists, we hear about the crazy stuff that our president's doing. You know, there's bombings happening there's all this really bad stuff happening, right? And it can be really hard to get stuck in the negative, but as creatives, we are here to create that narrative that there's so much beauty and so much good in this world, right? And I'm working on art to show that, and not just like my functional stuff that I sell, but like actual art that is speaking these ideals that I have, these thoughts that I have, in ways that will probably make other people uncomfortable, in ways that make me feel uncomfortable sharing my thoughts, my politics, things like that, right? Because I'm putting myself out there. But this episode just reminded me that art is important, that the creator, the bigger universe, right? The creator is and was a creative, and our art is meaningful, and it's part of creating that narrative of the beauty of this world, and it's important. They talk about like the World's Fair and these buttons that people got when they went through this one exhibit about the future, and I'm like, Andy was saying how he was crying, and I was like listening to this, driving my kid to pottery class and bawling in the car, and my daughter's like, what's wrong with you, Mom? And I'm like, I try to explain. Of course it goes over her head, she's still young, she doesn't know any better. But yeah, it just touched me, and I felt like the universe was reminding me, like, hello Jenny, like, come on, you're doing this for a reason, you're on the right path, you just have to believe in yourself and believe in the journey and just experience it and be here with it. And then the horoscope, which same thing, she's doing her last like review, I think it was like episode 3 of The Artist's Way, her commentary on it, and again they were talking about the importance of valuing yourself and valuing your art, and how the, you know, the great universal creator is essentially a creative, and finding the beauty in that and seeing that and listening to that, and I was like, okay, I get it. And then I watched Gentrification that night, right? And in this episode, it's highlighting the matriarch Anna's mom and her struggle with motherhood, the struggles of putting everybody else before your own needs, the struggle of self-sacrifice, the struggle of not ever indulging, the struggle with, you know, not caring about your own needs, and in that, how that can create resentment and frustration within a mother. And I'm not gonna sit there and make excuses for Anna's mom, because she's kind of like, she's on a whole other level. Like, she's angry and frustrated, and I get it though, because she struggles. She's a seamstress, and she works at a manufacturing facility that absolutely 100 takes advantage of their people and hires people under the table, specifically undocumented people, so that they don't have to pay them a living wage, so that they don't have to give them insurance, so that they don't have to give them bathroom breaks, right? And this whole episode takes you through this journey, right? And every day she walks past this bakery, and this is when it hit home for me. Every day she walks past this bakery, and she like stares into the window, right? And there's these luscious, yummy looking pastries and donuts and macaroons, and right, like the most tasty, lovely edibles you ever seen. And she walks past it every day. She stares in the window, and then she takes a step back and she walks away. She never goes in, right? And to me, like, people watching the show, they probably think like, oh, she can't afford it, so she's not gonna go, right? To me, I looked at it even deeper. It's not so much that she can't afford it, but it's that she doesn't think she deserves it. She doesn't think she deserves it, right? And so I watched this episode and I'm in tears, because I understand that feeling, the idea of self-sacrifice for your family, especially for a small business owner, you know, having less than so that other people can have what they need, especially your kids. And you know, self-deprivation, like that's essentially what she's doing. She's depriving herself of even like the smallest luxury and joy in life, something like a donut, right? And she struggles day in and day out, and that anger and frustration is taken out on her oldest daughter, Anna.
Mommy?
Yes, baby. Yes, I will. That anger and frustration is taken out on her oldest daughter, Anna, because Anna's really like, she is a Latinx to the T woman. She is queer, she is amazing, she's an artist, right? And she's doing what she wants to do. She's fighting so hard to pursue and follow her dreams. And her mom doesn't get that, right? Her mom's just like, get a job, help me. And I understand that. I lived that life, and it wasn't so much that my mom like required me to have a job. It's just we struggled a lot when I was younger. I remember sometimes when our lights would get turned off, or you know, eviction notices and things like that. And I got a job as soon as I could. I started working when I was 14, and I've had a job ever since. And oftentimes it was more than one job. I was working corporate, and then I was freelancing, and then I would work a part-time job. And when I was teaching at 4 different schools to scrape together a full-time income, because the state of higher education is in shambles right now, so let's not talk about that. But I was an adjunct, and I'd have to work at multiple schools, basically doing the workload, you know, that's 3 times more than a regular full-time employee would be at those colleges. Thank you, baby. And here, little ASMR for you guys. We love ASMR. It helps us sleep, right, Sophia?
No, this is what I like.
Okay, Sophia's gonna do an impromptu ASMR. Who's your favorite ASMR artist that helps you fall asleep?
Whisper Red.
Whispers Red. Oh, we love Whispers Red.
Wait, I'll show you the ones I like.
Oh, but we also like an app called Sounds.
Wait,
right?
listen.
And it's white noise. Show it in the screen.
This is the one I was just playing. This is the one I was.
That is fire crackling.
And this is the one we usually.
Yes, this one makes everybody fall asleep.
I'm just playing it.
Sophia falls asleep in like 5 minutes, which is amazing, or 10 minutes really, which is really good for her. Since you guys know, we had a sleep study, right? But anyways, going back to Gentrification. So, I totally understood, because that was my life. I started working when I was 14, non-stop, always working, and even up until I left, the nonprofit I was working at, the nonprofit. I was teaching online part-time for the university that I work at, and then I was freelancing. So, right, just get a regular job. Why are you pursuing this art? And she was like, she was petty about it too. I think at one point in the episode she like threw away her art paints that she had saved up so much for, and my mom wasn't like that, like not at all. My mom supported fully, like whatever journey I wanted to be going down. She knew that I had the gusto and the ability and the work ethic, and she supported me. She was actually the one person that was always telling me, just freelance full-time, Jenny, just freelance full-time, Jenny. Why are you working at all these jobs and some that don't appreciate you? Just freelance full-time and do what you want to do. And so it was just, this whole thing hit so close to home watching this episode. And at the end, like, the big thing is that this mom works at this factory with this terrible boss, right? This guy who doesn't appreciate his workers, doesn't even let them go pee, right? Like, oh, you go pee on your time. And legally, like, that's illegal, right? But these people are undocumented, so they don't fight for that. And I'm a huge proponent for immigrant rights. You see probably in past videos, I've gone to so many protests, and you know, I take my kids to protest with me, especially when it comes to immigration rights and things like that, because it's important. That's my people. And this episode, it was just amazing to watch Anna's mom go through this like cycle of self-deprivation and self-hatred, and you know, devaluing herself and not seeing her self-worth. And I connected with both Anna and her mom, and I cried so hard watching this episode, because it felt like, again, the universe is reminding me, you are of value. And that's a hard thing for brown people to handle, right? Brown and black people, minorities, Asians, you know, people from third world countries, we are often seen as less than. Women in general too, we're seen as less than. And I think it's just like this self doubt that's ingrained inside. And I feel like the universe was just telling me, Jenny, you are valuable, you are worthy, you are deserving. And seeing her go through that route of, you know, sticking up for herself towards the end finally, because she was taking work home and she wasn't getting paid for those samples that she was sewing at home, and her kids had to help her on top of it. But towards the end, she goes to the boss. She does it in a really smart way, because it's like something that a Latino would do. She doesn't outright tell him like, I'm not taking this home and this is why, because you're doing this and it's illegal. She gives him a suggestion. She's like, you know, so-and-so is really fast with ripping seams, and so-and-so is really fast at, you know, doing this, and I'm really fast at this part. Why don't I just leave this here with you today and I don't take it home? And then she lets him say like, oh, so you want me to put this person here and this person in here so that the work gets done quicker? And she's like, yeah, you are a smart man. I knew you would totally understand and you would make that really great suggestion. And so he lets her not, you know, he tells her not to bring the work home and it's okay. And she walks out feeling proud, like she stood up for herself. This, mind you, was also after she went to an immigration rights informational meeting that was focused on unionizing. And that's a whole other thing we can talk about. But this is a creative channel, Jenny. It is not about your activism, but my art is my activism, and you'll see that soon, guys. But at the end of the episode, she goes to the bakery, she looks in the window, and she walks in and she gets all the goodies, and I'm just like, oh my god. And she goes home and she eats them with her younger daughter, because Anna was out doing her thing, helping her girlfriend with some like something to do with their activism and their volunteerism. But she does face masks with the daughter. She like indulges in these sweet treats, and it's just like a reminder about the internal struggle that Latinas and brown people and people of color and minorities in general struggle with, right? This idea of being less than, this idea of not knowing better, this idea of not being able to stick up for ourselves and having to be passive. And then in addition to that, because of all of that, because of that trauma, we then deprive ourselves. We think that we are unworthy. We think that we're unlovable. We think that we don't deserve more, or that it's wrong to deserve more or to expect more, right? Or that it's wrong to put some value in money and asking for higher wages or asking for time off, right? And just, it was literally in succession. Those are the messages that I got throughout the day on Tuesday, and I was just like, I was moved. I felt moved because I felt like the universe was talking to me. So that's the stuff that I learned this week. It's just another constant reminder, I feel like, from my ancestors, from the universe telling me that I'm going in the right direction. I have to believe it personally, and I have to believe in myself. But yeah, so like I feel like the ancestors have to throw stuff at me in order for me to pay attention.
Why
or like do things. Because
stuff?
mommy's so stubborn, I don't listen, and
You're
finally they like have to throw a banana at me.
Invisible banana, throw.
They have to like tell me things 3 times in a row in order for me to be like, oh, I got it. And I got it on Tuesday. So I hope you enjoy this episode. I hope you enjoy the footage of the museum, which will be going in right now.
Walking downtown and I'm okay. He's got it all figured out. It's what they all say, yeah. Everyone's looking at me thinking that I'm different. Everyone's looking at me thinking that I'm living. But I don't really care what they all say. It's easier said than done. That guy problems with everyone, but it all comes down to you. You're my anxiety. It's more than a feeling. You were never meant for me, but now I gotta keep it. Walking downtown and I'm okay. Eyes on me, I don't know what to do, so I smile and I wave. Alright. Everyone's looking like they know what they're doing. Everyone's looking like they know what I'm pursuing. I'm trying not to give them the time of day. It's easier said than done. I got problems with everyone, but it all comes down to you. You're my anxiety. It's more than a feeling. You were never meant for me. Now I gotta keep it. You are my anxiety. It's more than a feeling. You were never meant for me. Now I gotta keep it. Light turns to dust. I'm down to nothing. I am no longer in control. Over my shoulder, I feel it get colder. I'm told that I should offer my soul. Then all at once I feel my eyes roll back in time to see my life, and I can't change the things I've done. So all I have is an seizure. Show me love, put me under. When I'm drunk, I call your number. You show up late, I'm not bothered. I had to wait, but now you take me away, and all at once I feel my eyes roll back in time to see my life, and I can't change the things I've done. So all I have is an seizure. All alone, I drift into another zone. The devil that you know is better than the devil that you don't. Oh, the devil that you don't. She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. There must be something about her features. You'll find her beauty goes much deeper once you get to meet her. You see her walking down the boulevard. She got the posture of a superstar. She looks so fly in those Gucci slides. Yeah, I wonder what she hides under her disguise. Yeah, 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 yeah. And all the girls around the world, they wanna be her.
Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, this vlog. And again, thank you for your support. And I will talk to you all soon. Next week will be a tutorial, and I'll see you guys in the next vlog though. Bye.
Everyone's lining up to see her. There must be something about her features. You'll find her beauty goes much deeper once you get to meet her. She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. There must be something about her features. You'll find her beauty goes much deeper once you get to meet her.
Let me paint a picture. I see they don't understand. Feeling like Picasso. She brushing against my hands.